Hi, today is not just any Thursday. If
No.
you're joining us, if you're just finding out about this, it is 143 Day.
143 Day is a day to do some kind acts. So to be kinder than you even normally would. And it's actually to honor Mr. Rogers.
It is. So he kind of coined 143, standing for I, one, love, 4 letters there, you, 3 letters there. So 143. So
Ow.
for each
That just
word,
made sense to me now.
Yeah,
You just explained it in a way that it also happens to be the 143rd day of the year.
So that's why Governor Wolf has kind of pushed this out. He said, share your acts of kindness on social media and hashtag it 143 Day in PA. I think a lot of people sometimes don't want to share those acts because they don't want to appear to be
Boastful.
Yes.
Like, look at me and how good I am.
So let me
But
just,
today-
I'm going to say something about you.
Why?
I said I was hungry and you went and got me crackers. And I think that that was kind.
Oh, I should have taken a picture and posted it. I didn't think about
I
that.
should have done that
Well,
too.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Just
yeah.
the little
I try to
things.
take care of you.
It's the little things.
You said you were hungry. Speaking of hunger, hey, would taffy help satisfy some of that? Maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, so,
So it turns out it is National Taffy Day. So this is a real day, and at the store that I got this, they actually said the yellow, the banana, is the best selling.
Okay,
The woman
let me try
said
that.
you have to get some of the banana. But this made me wonder about taffy in general. Today apparently is a day to celebrate taffy, and I wondered about saltwater taffy and
Okay.
what the difference is, because like at the seashore you hear about saltwater taffy. Well, apparently.
it's so hard to eat.
On television too. It's a great idea, wasn't it, David? So anyhow,
Oh, but that was really good.
there is salt and water in taffy, but not salt water. And
So in saltwater taffy.
it's salt and water, but not salt water. But apparently it was sort of legend that there was some candy store along the Jersey Shore and it got flooded and it soaked the stock of taffy with Atlantic seawater, and so on a lark the owner sold the candy as saltwater taffy, and that's how it all began.
There you go.
Yeah.
I wish that this was Laffy Taffy. That's my favorite kind of taffy.
Oh,
But
for
this
flavor?
banana is delicious. Terrible idea to bite it on the air. And you threw the whole thing in your mouth, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so I'll talk for the next 10 minutes because you will be unable to. That's pretty much how this is going to go. All
I
right.
can talk with taffy in my mouth.
Can you?
That's how big my mouth is. Yeah.
All right, well, so we had to ask Gary something because you said you have a pet peeve, and it's when people talk while you're watching TV. Gary did.
I kind of went off the other day because we were watching Jeopardy, and he was talking during all of the questions.
Right.
And so I even said to him, you know, hey, I'm trying to play along. Maybe, I mean, I'm not great at Jeopardy, but maybe I'll get one of these. And he said, they're on the screen. You can read them. You don't have to hear Alex Trebek. And so anyway, I was complaining about that. But you have a similar story. You have someone
My
else
mom.
that talks.
My mom does this. Yeah. She knows that she's aware, she's accepted it. She acknowledges that she is very disruptive during shows and movies. So she's okay with it. But we wanted to ask Gary about your pet peeve and what he had to say about it. So listen.
Here's where it gets real.
Well, I always keep the remote because I need the control. So when he starts telling a story, which his stories are never short, I have to hit the pause button and say, are you finished yet? And then I can proceed.
There you go.
I'm so guilty, and that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
He says, are you done now? And then he'll start it again. And then it gets to the point that I just say, wait, I have something else. And then he'll pause it. But he's in charge of the remote. Are you in charge of the remote at home?
No.
Frankie's in charge.
Right, he's in charge.
Yeah.
Except like if we're snacking and watching TV, he will stop what he's doing. So he'll put the guide on and then I'll like take a bite of whatever he's doing. And I'm just looking at the guide like, all right, like whenever you're ready, I'm ready.
He's falling down on his job.
That's when there's fighting in the house. Okay, so while we had Gary on the phone, we also had to ask him about something else that had happened in your house with the toothpaste.
The toothpaste. Okay.
So listen to what Gary had to say.
He's still squeezing the toothpaste in the middle. No improvement.
Even after he called you out. I will have you know, though, I'm still snoring, too. So
Okay.
don't worry about
Well, he
it.
even left a note at one point that I put on social media, and it was a note that said, like, squeeze the toothpaste from this end. With, oh my gosh,
There
you
it
have it here. Jill, our producer, thinks of everything. Yeah.
Squeeze
So,
here. Love you, honey.
I just,
Love
you
that.
know, I try, but it just hasn't become a priority.
Well,
it's all a
okay.
habit.
You can't be good at everything, David. You know, you just can't be good at everything.
Thank you for framing it that way.
So a lot of people are talking about another big pet peeve in Pittsburgh in Western Pennsylvania. I had no idea this was such a debate until I started looking at some of the comments from this article, from the story that John Shumway did yesterday about merging.
Yeah, people feel strongly about this.
Very strongly.
And so the gist of it is that PennDOT is telling us you should use both lanes until you
Right.
get to the merge point.
It's called a
follow
zipper
the signs,
method.
the zipper method, yeah.
Right.
But I think, here's my theory, I think people get over early in Western Pennsylvania because they're trying to be polite.
So this is what happens sometimes, though. You see, sometimes, I don't want to call it just tractor trailer drivers, but because their vehicle's a little bigger, they can sit right in between.
Straddle both lanes.
Yeah, and kind
just
of
keep
block
anyone from moving forward.
Right. And then
Yeah,
people who
that's
have
annoying.
people who have waited in the lane that will eventually be merged with, they feel like, oh, I've sat here, I'm not rude, and you coming in at the last minute is rude.
Yes, and there's anger that builds up.
I have to tell you though,
Yes, what are you going to tell
some
us?
people are not going to like this. I use the lane that's ending.
Well, you're supposed to. You're following the rules.
I've seen the signs. There are
is
PennDOT signs
signage that
saying,
says use both lanes to
Right.
merge point.
and that's what I do.
And then when you merge in, are people kind to you? Like, or do you have to
Well,
get aggressive to merge in?
No, I don't consider myself an aggressive driver.
No, you
most of the
probably
times.
aren't. I've not. No, I have been in a car with you.
Oh.
Yeah, no, you
Was it
were.
scary?
No, you were very well behaved.
What I tend to do is look for the person who just merged over because they understand.
Right.
And so they are more willing.
To
You
let
go,
you
I
in.
go. You go, I go. That's just how
Yeah.
it works. You go, I go.
Yeah.
So they'll let you in. Come on over and you say thanks. Thank you.
No, I really
Give
do.
a wave.
I think people tend to go too soon into the one lane that will remain because they're trying to be polite, trying to be nice. So we're learning from this to follow the zipper method. Do it the way Heather Abraham does it.
Well, I thought this was really interesting. Somebody commented saying, think of it like if you were going to a concert. And how everybody's trying to get into or to a game. You know that there are security lines, but people are kind of in a crowd
Right.
trying to get in. Right? So you eventually will form into a line, but until you get to that point, it's kind of just a mess of people.
It's a funnel, kind
yeah,
of. Yeah.
it's kind of like a funnel in.
Yeah.
So
I think people do get angry though. Like if someone's blocking, like the tractor trailer blocking both lanes.
I think
Yeah.
I think that's wrong.
Yeah,
that
it
is definitely wrong.
It is wrong. Heather Abraham would never do that.
Never block a lane. Never. I don't think so. I don't think. All right, well, something else we're talking about, speaking of roads, self-driving USPS trucks.
Yeah, so this
This
is
is big.
interesting because I mean we're kind of used to in the city of Pittsburgh seeing these self-driving test vehicles
Right.
on the streets, but on a highway this is a tractor trailer rig carrying mail, and right now this is in the testing phase, but this could be the future. Oh, look at this.
And this is something else. This is called Digit. This is something else that they're actually testing out too when we're talking about robots and
If you
autonomous
saw
things.
this, like they're all
delivering a
calm
package.
that there's a robot walking on the sidewalk with them, I would be, holy cow, what is this?
What
The
is that?
aliens have landed.
There are a lot of different things being tested out there. So with this self-driving truck, they say that they're doing a 2-week test of this autonomous vehicle. This is a self-driving truck that's going to be carrying mail between facilities in Phoenix and Dallas. And they say that there's a driver shortage. So this will help in many different areas. And I think in that stretch of highway, they need 2 drivers in each truck.
Right.
So this would kind of eliminate that. You would have the backup driver with the autonomous vehicle, like, you know, to kind of have a backup system.
And as a backup, I mean, it's sort of like autopilot on a plane, kind of. I mean,
Right.
it's sort of a safety feature in that respect. It's not necessarily replacing a driver, at least not yet.
Right.
Yeah.
So as we approach Memorial Day weekend, there is a guy who set out on a mission, and he wants to mow veterans' grass, their lawns, in every state.
I love this because anyone who mows grass knows that this is the time of year where it is growing really fast, and this sort of fits into the Act of Kindness Day too, the 143 Day. So his name is Rodney Smith Jr. He will arrive in Pittsburgh, or he arrived in Pittsburgh earlier this week, and he also tweeted that he's going to have the honor and the privilege of mowing Mr. Morton's lawn in Cannonsburg.
He just did that. You see him taking the picture here with Mr. Morton. He said it was an honor to do that. Morton served more than 20 years in the U.S. Army, served in Desert Storm, and Smith's thank you for your service mowing tour actually wraps up on the East Coast, and then he will be heading out to Alaska and Hawaii.
So he's covering all 50 states.
He wants to do
real.
all 50 states.
Well, just such a kind gesture, and you know, anything that helps veterans after the service that they provided for our country, I think that's a wonderful group to try to help.
Do you know what he named his lawnmower?
No.
GI Mow.
Oh, that's cute.
Isn't that cute?